everyone, this is FantasyEsque and welcome back to the Sims 4 Vampire Amazon Royal Saga with the Salazar Coven. We are picking up with our physician, Serana, who is having her breeding now that she is an adult, which is very exciting for us because in this generation, this is the first physician slash spellcaster to be incorporated into the breeding cycle. Thus far, we have just been following along with our vampiresses. Xiomara obviously died, and now her twin sister, who has replaced her, thankfully has displayed mortal qualities. So, she's been aging along just fine. In the previous episode, she had a birthday, and then she had this really sweet makeover, where she became more of herself and started looking like the sprightly creature she is. And the queen has arranged for her match with Douglas over here, Douglas Covenrose, who I think is like her cousin uncle, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, he is the son of Lady Sapphire Covenrose, and I'm pretty sure Serana and her sister are from Sakura's line. So Sakura and Sapphire were twin sisters. Douglas is Sapphire's son, and I'm pretty sure Xiomara and Serana are Sakura's granddaughters. So yeah, there's like a cousin-uncle situation going on over here. And I mean, with the vampires, they seem to be showing a tendency for keeping things in the family. But I'm excited, mainly because we have that dusky, like that dark, not even dusky. This is not dusky. This is like dark skin tone from Serana. And then we have the red eyes from Douglas that we haven't seen yet, I think, in the vampires of this generation. So I'm really excited for how the mix is going to happen between them. And if they have, a daughter, it's going to be so fun. But let's really quickly talk through what happened in the mini-movie. Right. In the mini-movie, obviously, we started off with Douglas. He presented himself to the queen, and then he said, I, son of so-and-so, present myself for the breeding. And then the queen made a comment saying that she remembers Lady Sapphire's, like, the stories of her service. And she remembers it being told or said that her grandmother, Queen Wisteria, was very fond of Lady Sapphire. And I don't know if you guys remember, but Sapphire served for a very short time as an elder at the end of the 4th generation, but she was like so beautiful, and she was a little bit, how shall I put this, flirty, I suppose, and, like a minx when it came to social connections in court. And I feel like she was one of the very first alchemists to ever try and strike up a relationship with the queen, even before Xiomara. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting. But she had like a brief romantic relationship with Wisteria before she died. And as such, she was quite beloved by the queen and, the general vampires in the court because she was just so stunning. So the queen remembered that. And then Serana, she was being her very confident self and appealing and attractive self, and she was saying, and now perhaps I shall become fond of you, Douglas. So then they went off on their own, and then once she got into the physician's quarter, Serana quietened down a lot more, and Douglas noticed that, her spirit seemed a lot more diminished than in the throne room, and he asked if everything's alright, is there something on your mind? And Serana, in her moment of vulnerability, she told Douglas that it's difficult to be brave in front of the queen, to know that she could turn around and, bite me, and there would be nothing I could do to stop it. And so Douglas over here comforted her a little bit and said, all you have to do is make her pleased. Let us continue your bloodline, or secure your bloodline, and that way you'll have proven yourself. So let's secure the bloodline and prove yourself so that the queen can cherish you and your service, right? You'll have kind of, it's sad, but more worth in the coven. I mean, that is just the way these guys think, right? You'll have more worth in the coven if you have secured your bloodline, you've had a baby girl. Because if you don't, then, yeah, I mean, depending on your relationship with the others, you could still have a good time, kind of like how Zora did, if you remember. Zora Alcandrica, she refused to breed. We tried to a few times, but she just never ended up having a child, and that Alcandrica bloodline ended with her. Because, you know, of her own tragic birth and family history. She just refused to. And she had a good relationship with the others, and she lived a pretty good life in the coven until she died. But it's not always a guarantee. Whereas if you have secured the bloodline, then you have this sort of prestige. Whereas, you know, if you don't, then you'll be replaced with new blood. So who knows how the vampires are going to take that. So that's kind of where we're at. But, okay, let's go ahead and not waste any time, dive in with these guys. And we have had a bit of a look at Douglas over here, but let me just try, and I feel like this mirror like brightens them up for some reason, I don't know why, but let's come over here and let's freshen him up. And while he freshens up, oh, actually I just realized he's a vampire. Oh, guys, also, thank goodness I actually did that, because I had something else. Like, I prepped the mini-movie and, you know, this whole scene, I think like a week ago or a couple days ago. No, a week ago, for sure. And I had this in my mind, but, like, I completely forgot until this point. But remember how we did that test with Xiomara, and, like, when she turned from a teen to a young adult, to see if she was an immortal or if she was a mortal. And basically the test was, because she was a hybrid, right? And so is Serana, I think, is actually a full alchemist, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think she is. Yeah, she's a full-on spellcaster, but her sister was a hybrid. So we were trying to test to see if she was an immortal or a mortal. And the way we tested was using the age bar. So with the vampires, once they become immortal, then, for example, Lagatha's a young adult here, but she's missing that next stage at the end. And so we kind of know that she isn't going to age up, right? And so for Xiomara, we kind of did the same thing. We looked at her bar, and she had like the next life stage on this end, and we assumed that, okay, that means that she is immortal and she's gonna age up, right? But then she never ended up aging up, and it was a bit of a surprise when we found out that she's an immortal. I wouldn't have picked up until one of you lovelies in the comments several episodes ago told me that actually I think Xiomara might be an immortal. So then I started paying attention to the age. But when I paired these two up, because Douglas is a spellcaster, he is primarily a spellcaster, as you can see, because of this icon over here. So he can't use vampiric powers, but he can use, he can make potions and he can use spells, and he has talent points, right? But he is a hybrid, and he has the same thing going on that confused us with Xiomara. He's got that next life stage, as you can see, and has even got the number of days over here. Now, how do you tell whether or not they are immortal? So when I was shooting the scenes between these two, I did I was looking at several angles, and then there was one angle where I was capturing, I didn't end up using it, I think, but I was capturing them in the mirror. And the reason why I didn't end up using it is because Serana over here, you can see her, but you can't see Douglas. He is invisible. And if you guys remember, the vampires, they are invisible in the mirror. So then I came to the conclusion that, hey, instead of an age bar test, you need to do a mirror test. Essentially, if your hybrids are invisible in front of the mirror, they are immortal, because that's the sign of immortality. So there we go, guys. That's one way you can tell in your own game whether or not your spellcaster hybrids are immortals or not. And if you can see them in the mirror, then they are mortals. So that is, the test that will take place henceforth. So I just had to tell you guys that because I came across it quite suddenly and I was like, hey, this is going to be very helpful to everyone. Okay, so let's get these two back into action and dive into their first kiss, since like we can't really check to see what I was wanting to check. Like I wanted to see his features, but actually I might just get him to go to the fireplace once they're done, and then we can take a look at him a little bit closer. But okay, here we go, here we go. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Even if their child had like a blend, like a skin tone between theirs, I think that would be just so, so pretty. I'm pretty sure actually, Serana and Xiomara, they inherited their father's skin color. Like their father had this really dark skin and they got the same skin as him, which looks very lovely on them. But I think it would be also fun to have like a skin tone in between Douglas and Serana. I keep wanting to call Serana Xiomara, and I feel like I've done this several times. But it's not intentional, okay? It's not intentional. I've just been saying Xiomara so much that I'm used to saying that. Okay, let's go ahead and let us try to conceive. So she's gonna do her part. Let's go for it, Serana. She's gonna do her part and hopefully have a baby girl. The odds are ever in our favor because Guinevere just had her babies recently, and she had twin boys. So essentially we have two boys between the... Who was born last? Was it Juno? Was Juno the last one born, like, before the Shadow Boys? I think so. Well, if that is the case, then we have two boys between Serana and the Lost Girl. So the chance of her having a baby girl is actually quite high, I feel. So, like, she's got a good chance of it. Which will be very, very good for her, because then she can stop being as stressed as, you know, she's being, or she has been lately, worrying about the queen and such. But I do hope that this fear she has doesn't stay and that it goes, because that's kind of one of the ways that Xiomara kind of dug her own grave. Like, she started being way too paranoid. Okay, let's come here. Let's do a test. That fear led her to becoming paranoid, and then she started doing things she shouldn't have been doing. Because she was overthinking. She was overthinking everything, and then she made a lot of mistakes. Oh, where'd you go? Okay, there we go. Jeez, you're like jumping around everywhere, honey. And do we have good news? Yes, we do. Excellent. She's eating for two. She is eating for two. So 8 p.m. I'll consider this 8 p.m. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. So Tuesday, 8 p.m. Let's see. At an event. We'll just do a house party. Serana is gonna host along with the queen. And let's see the guests. We'll have Douglas, Guinevere, Catherine, Meredith, Lagatha, of course, Elaine, because now she can join us. And that's interesting. Serana and Elaine, Serana has a bad impression of Elaine. I wonder why. I wonder why. But yes, invite them. And then I suppose we should invite, like, the spellcasters. Oh, we'll invite Azora. I feel like she would be interested in seeing the birth of a potential new spellcaster, in addition to their ranks. And then Princess Kyra, of course. And I think that should be good. Maybe Princess Juno? Yeah, I think that should be good. Okay. Yep. Eden's Court. Oh, right, 8 p.m. So we'll do it at 8 p.m. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, good. She's gonna go and give him the good news. Are you going to go and give him the good news? Yes, she is. And I wonder where he's running around. Like, where'd he go? Where did he go? Okay, he's right over here. Well, the lighting here isn't the best, I would say. But let's take a look at him. So Douglas over here, he has... I don't think his eyes are as big, maybe? But they're fine. They're decent looking. He's got pretty eyelashes. But he's got red eyes. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. Let's just zoom in. There you go. He's got red eyes. So a child between Serana and Douglas is going to have his red eyes. And if it's a girl, then she will also have his brown hair. If it's a boy, he could randomize the hair color. I'm really curious to see like how their features might mix as well. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like Xiomara's features more than Douglas, so I'm hoping the child takes after her a bit more. Yeah, I'm hoping the child takes after her, but I think there'll be an interesting mix between the two of them. A very interesting mix. But yes, these are both Coven Roses. Both Coven Roses. So now the spellcasters are doing the exact same thing as the vampires. They're keeping it all in the family. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so that was one thing that kind of happened. And then we had Kyra over here. We found out previously that she loves cats. So, you know, she's fascinated with spellcasters and their magic and such. So she was spending some time with Silkfrost, and we know that Silkfrost paws have been getting warmer and such, and you know, he's been a little bit agitated around the place, and he was just being really excitable and trying to tear into things, and you know, he was pacing around in the children's room, and Kyra was trying to calm him down, and she couldn't understand why he was acting the way he was acting, and then a thought crossed her: does this have something to do with Lady Serana? And so she wants to go and she wants to speak to Serana. Yeah, talk about favorite animal. She wants to go and speak to Serana about how Silkfrost was behaving, to figure out why he was acting the way he was acting. So she is, I think, going to put her plate down, and then she's going to go speak to the physician, so she can figure out what was wrong with the physician's cat, or a magic cat. Are you going up, or is Serana coming down? You're going up, yes? I think our lovely princess is going up. Okay, and I think any chance that she gets to interact with the physician, she's gonna take up straight away. I just see her as someone who would be, you know, bubbling with questions about everything spellcaster. Rather than vampiric, her interest lies more in, you know, the spellcaster side of things. So she's going to talk to Serana about what was happening with the cat and how he was acting. And then Serana is going to give her the news that she is expectant. And I think she's going to draw a conclusion, and she's just going to, in simple terms, say that the magic cat, like her familiar, knew that she was kind of like she had a baby with her, essentially, right? And it's kind of awkward to explain this to a kid, but essentially what happened was that as the time for Serana to conceive was nearing, then Silkfrost was becoming more sensitive to that. So Silkfrost, you know, was aware that a breeding was going to occur / occurring, so that's why Silkfrost was being all angsty and jumping around, and you know, why the paws were reacting and everything. It was all because he could kind of sense a spike in, I suppose, Serana's energy, So that's what it was. That's what it was. So as far as Kara is concerned, it's like, oh, okay. So there was a there was a baby on the way, which is why the magic cat was acting the way it was. So there we go. She's so sweet and so cute. Oh my goodness, I love her so much. I love her so much. Okay, and then Serana is gonna go and give the good news to the queen. So let's go ahead and can we tell the queen? I don't. Is this part of small talk? I don't think so. Share big news. There we go. That's a separate thing on its own. So let's go and just share big news with the queen. Let the queen know that it was a successful conception. So we'll go on down. We'll do that. And she looks so nice in her pink sleepwear. Like it looks so, this color looks so nice on her. I just love this color on her skin. It looks so, so good. Okay, she's gonna go ahead. She's gonna give the queen the good news. Right, okay, the queen is immensely pleased with this. And obviously we're hoping for a girl. Because, I mean, yeah, male spellcasters can join the army, but they don't have as big a place as the vampires do. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about, actually, is... Guinevere's not even here. Darn. Okay, but I wanted to talk about Guinevere and the fact that she had twin boys. Now, one thing that is interesting to note is that in the past, the birth of boys, especially, you know, multiples, would have been seen as, I don't know if curse is the right word, but it definitely wouldn't have been seen as something good, right? Because that, like, the females in the family that you need to be having, that's getting further and further away from you, and you're, like, being completely overrun with boys, and your bloodline isn't being tainted, but it's being hindered by males, right? It's been hindered by males, which you don't want. And so that would have been a thing of great shame in the past. Like, to have one boy something, but did you just go through the walls? Huh. But to have multiple boys, that's a thing of great shame. It would have been in the past. But in this generation, I feel like it is no longer, like, it doesn't have the same meaning as it did before, because our contexts are different. You know, the changes that Queen Eden made, obviously at the prodding of Guinevere, but the changes that were made in the beginning means that these guys, they don't look down on the boys anymore. The boys are cherished additions to the army. But I think Guinevere, especially having twin boys, that would be seen as highly appropriate and something that the vampires would be proud of rather than shameful of, because Guinevere is a champion. And the fact that she's adding, like, boys to the army, twin boys to the army, right? She's essentially giving the people and the military strong warriors that descend from two champion bloodlines at this point. And as someone who is a champion, her having twins, people are going to see this as fertility. People are going to see this as a blessing to the empire. Because, you know, she's the hero and she's the champion and she's combining champion bloodlines to have champion sons. So that, it's interesting because in the past, remember when Soul had twin boys? I mean, Bryce and Jackie, they were Soul's second pregnancy, and then Luciano and Blaze were Soul's first pregnancy, and both times it was considered a thing of great shame that she was not continuing the bloodline, that her bloodline was dying with her, that she was having sons instead of daughters. It was a completely different context. People were looking down on that. Whereas now that's changed. People are celebrating Guinevere for having twin boys. And adding that to the military strength. And I just love the change that has happened I love that we live in a different time for these vampires, where, you know, the birth of boys isn't seen as something bad. It's actually seen as something good. And funnily enough, if the Visitant War hadn't happened, those changes might not have occurred. We might still be stuck in, like, the Dark Ages, which in a lot of ways we are, but, you know, the way of thinking when it comes to the birth of children and their genders would have still been the same as what it was beforehand. But okay, I'm gonna let Douglas return to wherever he needs to be, and then we'll kind of sort out who's staying at the castle and figure out what's going on next. Okay, Princess Kyra just came out of the pool, and she's so cute in her swimwear, but she is going to have herself some punch along with her mother. I suppose, like mother, like daughter. So both of them at the same time decided to go out and grab some punch for themselves. So is she going to go ahead with it? I guess not. She decided against it in the last minute, but that's fine. She has been wanting to be friendly with Myron over here. And where is he? Myron, okay, he's wandering around inside. He was invited by the queen because the princess wanted to spend some time with him, and they aren't that close, but Myron is the person who, you know, helped raise her along with the brood mother at the creature cradle. So she has a certain amount of fondness for him, and she wanted to be friendly with him. So she's gonna go ahead and goof around a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's goof around a little bit with Myron. And I don't know who this random citizen is walking around in our castle, but that's fine. They hopefully will show themselves out at some point. And Sage and Griffin over here, they are her, like, cousins from both sides of the family, like from the maternal and paternal side. And she's close with all her uncles. This is actually so cute. She's close to all her uncles. Like a lot more than she is with her, whatchamacallit, a lot more than she is with Myron. But are you gonna go chat with him? Where'd he go? Where did Myron flippin'? Is he upstairs? Oh, he's over here in the Queen's quarters. Well, that's fine. Enthused about cats. Why not? Let's go do that. Are we having some mother-daughter time over here? Oh, we're having some mother-daughter time. Oh, another thing. You guys might have noticed that our household size has reduced quite a bit because Douglas returned to where he was supposed to be at the army, and we needed one more member to temporarily head to one of the other households for the course of Serana's pregnancy. And so we had a look at which council member the queen was closer to. Funnily enough, the queen was closer to Catherine than she was to Lagatha. So Lagatha has been sent to, like, back to the creature cradle for the remainder of Serana's pregnancy. So she's going to be spending her time there, while Kyra stays behind along with Catherine and Eden to accompany Serana. So we have that. Have you spoken to Myron? Like, what is going on? I keep, like, lining her actions up, and then I'm blanking over here, but then she never ends up talking to Myron. Go chat with him. Why is this so hard? Come on. Focus. Let's go to Myron. Let's chat with him. You've been wanting to for a while now, and I'm trying to get that done to the best of my ability. Come on. Maybe they're, like, on separate levels of the castle, and so they keep timing out. Like, the interactions keep timing out. Come on. You can do it. You can do it, Kyra. Where is he? Okay. Good. And they're heading to one another. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, she's talking about worms. Why not? Why not? Okay, good. So she is quite happy that she managed to be a bit more friendly with Myron. I think she was missing, like, the creature cradle, especially now that Lagatha has returned to the creature cradle. And yeah, she hasn't been that close to Lagatha either, but I think Kyra respects both of them for, being the people who raised her. So we have something interesting to talk about when it comes to Myron, not just the fact that Kyra wanted to spend some time with him. So after the whole Xiomara shenanigans, we had a bit of a lull, I feel like, in terms of relationships, and there were other things we were working on, like, Guinevere's pregnancy, and then now Serana's pregnancy. So between the last episode and this one, Myron over here has confessed his feelings to Queen Eden, guys. And Eden, more or less, has accepted his feelings. So we might not remember, but Myron was the first vampiric male that the Queen bred with. So he is the one that she had Prince Rusty with. And it seems as though after all these... she has a personal rift with him, interestingly enough, but they're also lovebirds. So I don't know when and where and how this is happening and why this is happening, but yeah, he confessed his feelings, she accepted, but she also has a personal rift with him, so I don't actually know why that might be the case, like what has happened between now and then. If you guys have any clues, definitely let me know. But their relationship seems to have rekindled after how many pregnancies? I think 3. Yeah, I think Myron was the first, then it was Blaze, then Luciano? Yes, then it was Blaze and Luciano. And after all of those, now she and Myron are kind of having a thing. Now, whether or not it is going to become something more, I'm not entirely sure. And he was an unsuccessful male because he didn't end up having a daughter, but that's kind of by old standards. We don't look at that anymore, right? So I wonder if this is going to be different from before. Like, I'm not entirely sure if she's deeply in love with him or anything like that. I definitely don't think it's a case. But I do feel like she has some respect for Myron. And after the whole incident that happened with Xiomara, she's kind of open to people now. And I feel like when Myron confessed his feelings, then the Queen, she looked at it practically like she's not with anyone right now. She's not courageous enough to pursue Lagatha, obviously. And Myron, she's respected him, and he, seems like a good, decent person, and he's performed quite well in terms of his duties at the creature cradle, so she accepted him, and then also, he's of the bloodline. And oh my goodness, Griffin and Sage, they just became infants. Oh my goodness. Do you know what this means, guys? This means we are going to be bumping them up into toddlerhood because I refuse to play with infants. Also, I know you guys have said, or recently you've told me, that the eyes that I use, the CC eyes I use for my vampire genetics, that has been updated for infants, which is great news. But unless the flippin' hairs and skins I use have also been updated for infants, I probably will not be playing them. But also, it's just an extra life stage I don't want to mess with. Like, I feel like the ages of kids were good enough, and the clothes I use, unless everything has been updated for infants, I can't make that transition. But, I don't want an extra life state. Like, no thank you. At some point, I might find that cute. For now, though, I don't find that cute. Like, nada. Because I want my vampiresses, and even male vampires, I want them to get into that, like, teen young adult life stage as soon as possible. Within a reasonable time frame, of course. So that I can enjoy them, and enjoy making stories with them. It's kind of difficult to do when they're infants. So, yeah. Let me go ahead, actually, give them a makeover, and then we'll summon them to the castle to see how they look, because I think they'll be cute. But it seems as though they both have They don't seem identical, but I don't know. They don't seem identical, but also they seem like they have yellow hair. So that's kind of funny. But apart from Channing, pretty much all the males that have been born so far have the yellow hair. So I guess those are some strong genes. Strong genes in the Coven right now. In the previous generation, it was all brown hair. Now it's all yellow, like golden yellow hair. But okay, let me deal with that, and then we will be right back. Well, guys, it is time for us to meet our newly aged up and made over toddlers, Lord Sage and Lord Griffin, the twin sons of our champion, Lady Guinevere Salazar and Bryce Ranarain. Now, these boys I thought were not identical at first, but they actually are identical. So on the left, we have Sage, and on the right, we have Griffin. They have the golden yellow hair that seemingly all of the males being born in this generation are having. I don't know where this gene is coming out from. Obviously from Myron's side, but I love it. It actually looks really, really cool. And I feel like it makes it a bit memorable. Like the boys born in Generation 4 had the brown hair, the boys born in Generation 6 have the golden hair. And they belong to Generation 7, of course. But let's take a look at their eyes, because they have periwinkle eyes. And the periwinkle eyes look so cute. But there we go. There we go. They already, to me, I don't know if you guys are seeing this or noticing it as well, but I feel like they look different to the other boys we've had. Like, even as toddlers, I can kind of tell they look different to the other boys that we have had. I don't know what exactly it is about them, but also, I'm loving these big pupils they have. Like, it looks just so adorable. But let me know what you guys think about this. I'm actually really excited to have identical twin boys joining the army. And I wonder if they will follow in their parents' footsteps, because we know that, in breeding for them, Guinevere wanted to pass on a bunch of her evil traits that Bryce also had, but Sage over here, as a toddler, he's a charmer, and then Griffin is angelic, so obviously their kids are not going down the path that their parents expected of them, unless they turn into kids and then suddenly have a 180 in terms of personality. But they're so cute. They're so cute and adorable, and I'm really enjoying the eyes they have, because I think yellow has been the predominant eye color as well for children born in this particular generation. So I'm kind of glad to see this loveliness. And then of course with Serana's baby we're going to have red eyes, so that's going to be fun as well. But let me know what you guys think about our twin boys. Look at them, sons of Guinevere. Oh, you cuties. Oh, you cuties. Feel free to run around if you want. Check out the premises. My young ones, you have great responsibility on your shoulders, because everyone is essentially going to be looking up to you as, like, champions, as the male champions, because you are the result of 2 champion bloodlines. Already they're off to explore. Ah, how glorious. Okay, Serana, Jamie Salazar. What? I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is, Jamie. I really don't, so we're gonna just ignore it. But Kyra, do you want to maybe meet your cousins, perhaps? No? Okay, the queen over here, what is she doing? Oh, she's spending some time with Griffin. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Okay, she's spending a little bit of time with Griffin. I wonder what the other one's doing. Guinevere is obviously not here, so she can't exactly see her sons, but she must have seen them back at wherever they've been stationed. I think they're at the Willow Creek no, they're at the Glimmerbrook Embassy, I think, because their father and their uncle is stationed at the Glimmerbrook Embassy with Azura and stuff. So where did the other one go? Sage, Hold on a second. We need to get a Sage tracker. Where'd you go, Sage? Oh, Sage is walking around out here in the garden. He's just inspecting all of these plants and such. Oh, Sage, you're so cute. You're so cute. But yeah, definitely everyone is going to be looking at Sage and Griffin when it comes to the army. So they kind of have to kind of grow into that reputation that they are going to have, like, from their birth. I feel like Guinevere may potentially have expectations for one of her sons to, you know, become the next commander. So that's definitely something that will have to be done at some point. And I'm also thinking, I don't think we've established a new commander, have we? I don't think we have. So that's, if I'm not mistaken, that's another thing we have to get done, because I don't think we have a commander that replaced Jamie after Jamie was demoted. So we might see that in the next episode even. Like, while Guinevere is out of the castle, she might be going around and doing some of those things. But in the future, for sure, I imagine that even if it's not Guinevere, you know, people might expect these boys to be exemplary when it comes to strength. And so they might expect one of them to, oh, that's so cute! They might expect one of these guys to go ahead and take over the role of commander, since they do come from champion bloodlines. But, okay guys, with that said and done, I'm gonna leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.